think I speak for a lot of people who are really looking at getting into Alaska when I say, what is it going to take in order for me to get hired? You know, how come it feels like I am just hitting a wall every time I'm trying to get a position in Alaska? Well, my name's Jamin Goecker. I'm an associate real estate broker in the state of Alaska. My mission is to help you to build an intentional and significant legacy for yourself and your family by coaching you in real estate. And today we're going to be talking about what the secret is for you to find a job in Alaska that you have just not been able to get up to this point. Before we get started though, do make sure you give this video a like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, because we were actually getting pretty close to hitting a milestone of mine, which is getting to 10,000 subscribers on the channel. I thought that was completely insane for having that goal like 4 years ago, but we are actually getting pretty close to it. So if you would help out by subscribing, that would mean absolutely the world. So without further ado, let's go and jump into today's video. All right, let's go ahead and start first with why exactly is it that some employers really seem to be so hesitant to hiring someone from out of state? Well, let me give you an example from kind of recent experience from a friend of mine. He was hiring somebody and they hired somebody clear over on the other side of the country. And this person showed up and worked. Keep in mind, they hired this person, and it was going to take this person like a solid month and a half to get up here. And so he and the company, they just kind of like, buckled down, worked really hard, made it work, even though, held the position for this person to get up here. And the person got up here, worked all of like 2 weeks, and then just decided, you know what, this isn't for me, and I'm going home. And meanwhile, this friend of mine, like, is just lost all the time, the resources, the mental capacity it took to get this person up here and then out of here. And it was just an enormous drain, and it was a big risk that did not pay off. So just know that is why most employers are usually very hesitant to hire somebody who's coming in from out of state. And it's because you look like a risk, because historically, people who do come in from out of state are a risk. So what can you do in order to make sure that you can kind of get past that and be able to show people, hey, I'm the real deal, and I'm going to be here for a long time, and you should hire me because I'm the best option, because I'm going to be able to do the job really well, and I'm actually going to stick around. So we're going to talk about how exactly you can do that. All right, step number one. Okay, if you are not really good at your job right now, if you're someone who just, kind of likes, just kind of floating around, and you're not particularly committed to being good at what you do, you're going to have to step it up, because Alaska is a much smaller pool. Reputations go a lot further in Alaska than you're going to find elsewhere, and there just aren't as many jobs in Alaska as you're going to find somewhere else. So if you're somebody who just kind of sort of does a good job, you're going to have to up your game. You're going to have to make sure you are good at what you do, because that is going to be step number one if you really want people to hire you. Show a good trail, good wake behind you of good results and being able to show results. The second tip I would give you is show that you have some skin in the game. You don't have to physically come up here and move up here and then start looking for a job, but it would really mean the world to a lot of employers if you can actually show up in person for the interviews. And this is great for a number of reasons. Number one, it does show, hey, look, I'm serious. And number two, I'm physically here, and this is still the thing. Bonus points if you can actually show up during the wintertime and show that it's just not the end of the world to you, or that you've actually lived in a cold climate before. In a really cold, dark kind of an environment is not going to be something that you're just going to run home screaming from. Just be very clear. This is my home now, and I'm not planning on going anywhere. All right, so on this next one, I am pretty sure that I'm probably going to upset some of my fellow introverts, and that is you need to be able to show you have some kind of social connection already established in Alaska. Now, you don't have to be the social butterfly and already have like 50 friends up here and already have necessarily a network, but being able to establish some connection with people who are here, being able to get up here, plug into a church, talk with people, make some connections, just something like that is really going to go a long way. And it's hard to quantify, how much of an impact that is going to make, but being able to show the employer, hey, I've already got connections up here. I'm not going to get lonely and just go home the second it gets dark and cold. that is really going to go a long way to really giving them a lot of confidence that you have some stick-to-itiveness. Coming in and just saying, I don't have any friends up here, no connections, but that's okay. I don't really need friends anyway. That's not going to impress anybody, and they're probably going to call your bluff. Don't do that. Number one, that's, you need people, whether you think or not, and especially if you're in an environment like this, and the employer is going to know that. So even if you think that, don't say that, and accept that you're wrong, you need to move forward. Okay, I think I've beaten that one to death. Moving on. Let's take a quick break here real quick. For those of you who've been watching for a bit, you do know that I have a relocation guide for those of you who are considering moving to Alaska. And if that's something that would benefit you, go to the website. Link for that is in the description section down below. Register to the website and write relocation guide in the comment section of the little contact form so I know what to send you. If you just post relocation guide in the comment section of a video, there is... I can't send anything to you through a comment section, okay? I need an email. So go to that website, register, and I'll go ahead and get that sent over to you. And that's a great resource if you're just trying to figure out what's up or down in Alaska. Some of the data is probably a little outdated. Watch the market updates we have every week, and that'll give you the most up-to-date information on the real estate market. But for the whole, it's a great resource. Now, let's go and finish up today's video. So the last tip I gave was for the introverts, and this next tip is going to be going out to you who are a little bit more extroverted, and that is when you're explaining why you are moving to Alaska, keep your story short and pithy. Okay, for the most part, if we're talking about a business owner, small business owner, most managers, employers, they are on a tight schedule and they don't want to have to sit down and hear like this long drawn out, 30-minute story about why it is that you're moving to Alaska. Keep it really short and keep it really pithy. I am moving up to Alaska because this is where my family is. I've wanted to move here my entire life, and this is the fulfillment of a dream. Just short, to the point. If they want to ask more questions, they'll ask more questions. But the big thing is just being able to quickly and concisely state why you're moving up here and keep it moving. This next one is going to be a little tricky, and let me just explain, because you want to be able to show you have a high level of confidence, and yet you don't feel entitled to whatever position it is that you're interviewing for. And what I mean by that is you want to be able to come in and just say something like, hey, Mr. Employer, I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down and talk with me, and did want to let you know, I for sure am moving to Alaska. I would really love to work for you and being able to kind of have you as my extended neighbor up here, but do understand I'm going to be moving to Alaska one way or the other. The only thing I think we need to decide today is whether or not I am going to be employed by you when I do get here. Just something respectful, confident, and really showing, hey, I'm in it to win it up here in this position and in Alaska in general. And it's just a question of whether or not I'm going to be working here or somewhere else. On the note of being confident, you might want to ask just up front, hey, is it a showstopper for you that I am coming in from out of state? If so, then let me know, and I will just rescind my application and save us both some time. Just be very upfront with that. If they start hemming and hawing, because keep in mind for some of these positions, especially with the state, they can't necessarily, they have to give you an interview because you apply and you technically met some criteria. That doesn't mean they plan on hiring you seriously. And so being able to cut through that and be able to save you both some time is really going to be something that's going to be good. Because keep in mind, you're not going to be mentally ready for, you've got a finite number of hours you can take of this frustration. So keep it to a minimum, and that's going to keep you very efficient, and it's going to keep you on the road to getting hired a lot longer than you're going to find with other people, and you're going to have better results. So just make sure you're being very efficient with your time and not going on interviews just to go on interviews. Ask up front, hey, is this a waste of both of our times? Okay, cool. Thanks for letting me know. Best of luck with the position, and maybe I'll work with you in the future. Done. One other tip I would really emphasize, if you can avoid going into the issue of you being out of state at all, I would probably do that. Now, I'm not lying to anybody. I'm not trying to mislead anybody. But if somebody is just interviewing me for a position, I'm probably not going to volunteer the information that I'm coming in from out of state. Now, again, this isn't lying, this isn't misleading, and if they do ask, I'm going to be very upfront with them. But also, just know if you're coming up here anyway, I'll let you decide whether it's worth bringing it up at all if you're going to be coming up here either way. So again, we're not trying to mislead anyone, not lying to anyone. They just being very upfront, and they're asking, hey, are you from out of state? Like, just, be honest. Be honest, but also I wouldn't necessarily lead with that if I can avoid it. Another thing you can do in order to really improve your odds is if you are looking at a company that does offer some kind of move-in bonus to get up here and some kind of a sign-on bonus, what you might consider doing is saying, hey, I'm willing to sign a contract that says if I'm not up here, if I don't stay up here for X number of years, then I will give this entire bonus back and the moving package as well. Like, if an employee says that to me, like, I am suddenly way more interested, because obviously they've got a ton of skin in the game and they're probably not going anywhere. And even if they do, at least I'm not out the financial investment for the bonus and the moving costs as well. All right, so this next option, I'm going to call this the kamikaze option of trying to get hired in Alaska. And that is, you come up here for we'll say a couple months or so. We'll say, probably, let's say upwards of a month. You go find some furnished apartment, like Unfurnished Finder. You've got enough savings put away to where it's not going to be the end of the world. And you literally are going around applying to these jobs and saying, hey, I can start today. Today. If you want me to, let's go. And again, you've got plenty of savings put aside, so you can do this for a little while. You're not necessarily moving all your stuff up here yet. You're in some kind of a furnished apartment, and you are here all day, every day is all about just getting employed and having a high level of intentionality and urgency when you're talking to people. And if somebody approaches me like that, they have got my attention, and it really does show the next level of intentionality and being able to put themselves in the best position. Now, might be a little bit more spendy, but it does matter. How important is it to you to get hired up here in a quick and timely manner? If getting employment up here is the only thing holding you back, I would definitely consider it. And, just say, okay, well, this is a cost of doing business. If I'm not having any luck getting hired, at least I'm going to come up here, talk to a lot of people, start developing some connections, and then hopefully be able to network to where, even if I do have to go home empty-handed, and, hopefully be able to get some callbacks after I've gone through whatever time period I have that I can hang out up here. So this has been your video talking about the secret to getting hired in Alaska. Turns out there's not a whole lot of secrets out here, but I sure hope these tips have been helpful and a little outside the box for you. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.